Prabhu is just starting the live session. Anyone would like to volunteer for the
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu? Prabhuji, yeah, the Mangalacharan, maybe one of you can do.
Yeah, I can get started, Prabhu. Just give me a minute. I'm opening my
Okay.
laptop.
Yeah. Sure. Amaga Prabhu, yesterday there was a session in the evening in Harrow where Keshav Maharaj gave a question and answer session on Hinduism demystified.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a nice topic actually. Uh, it was more of like a question and answer session, but I think it's important because of the fact that a lot of people are very confused when it comes to Hinduism and like so many gods and which is the right way to go and so many questions. It was like more of like a question and answer session. So he was able to just kind of like elaborate and kind of like decode the Hinduism kind of a thing. Um, very very interesting enough. Before the session started, one TV journalist they approached me and asking me like what the session is all about, and I was just even haven't even attended the session, so I was not sure what exactly is going to be the content of the session. But I just mentioned that demystified is more of like to understand like actually what's the actual name for Hinduism, which is Sanatan Dharma. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what it is, isn't it, Prabhu? When you say demystify, we're just talking about what's the original. We are trying to unpack and see, like, trying to understand the essence of what exactly Hinduism means, like what's the original name, and in Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita. So there's a reference in Bhagavad Gita as well. So which is what I just had a clue, and I just told like it's about Sanatan Dharma and things like that. But it was very interesting because the session was just not with ISKCON people, but with everyone else, even with other Krishna devotees also. Like Gujaratis, there are a lot of Gujaratis who are like Krishna devotees, but they don't come to ISKCON kind of thing. So,
Yes, Prabhuji.
so it,
Yeah.
it was nice actually. A few hundreds, I would say. Myself and Nagaraj Prabhu were there. Yeah.
So,
Do you
Yes,
know if it was recorded,
I'm
Sham?
not sure. I had the audio, but I'm not sure if they have recorded. They would have. Somebody would have definitely recorded from somewhere. I was not checking that. But yeah, but anyway, it's a question and answer session. Bharata Prabhu. It's interesting, like sometimes, like even though we are practicing, everybody's just Hinduism is like such a big ocean. Everybody is worshiping different demigods or devatas or anything like things like that. And there's a lot of things where one of the common thing we see is like, according to my perspective, everybody's looking at their perspective or what their understanding about Hinduism is. It's not a simple text like which you find in other religious traditions. So it's like everybody coming with their own concept of like what they think is the right god and things like that. So I think it's very important to have clarity about that. So I think a lot of questions were asked, and he was just basically trying to understand, explain from that point of view.
yes, Prabhu. I'm ready, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure, Nagar Prabhu, please go ahead. Yeah, I'll just we share this. Share this.
तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदाङ्कितं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदं कमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवं साद्वैतं स्वाधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सह गणललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने।
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्याशिदशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। तो श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Nagaraj Prabhu. Telling this writing to the Lord. So beautiful. It's really nice, and yeah, it'll be nice actually. Paritosh Prabhu, it's good if you can just go through this also. Like sometime we can just give it a try. It's nice to slowly progress like that. Just to know some prayers and and slowly take part. And that's how. In fact, I think that's how we all progressed.
Okay.
Yeah, over the years, like you won't believe it. Like the same way I used to listen, like how we used to listen, and after some time, we started. So that's how we get to know everyone.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, Pastor Shobha. Gayatri ji, maybe sometime if you're comfortable later in another session, you can do as well. Just a thought.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, I was just saying, like it's nice, like if we can take turns and we can just do the Mangala Charan prayer. So maybe
Sure.
one of the session, whenever you're comfortable, like if you're comfortable, then you can do as well. So it'll be nice to,
Yes.
just participate, and all of us can be,
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you, Gayatri ji. So I'll just start the Kirtan and then we will dive into the Krishna book. Yeah. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So it's always wonderful to be back in our satsang and Thursdays, and we're going so strong, carrying on with our Krishna Katha as we always do before we start the Hari Katha. Prabhupada mentioned that this is the best sloka in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna mentions Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yoveti Takritaha Chakta Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Suarjana, where Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling that one who listens to Hari Katha, a lot of people do not understand the importance, but Krishna himself is personally emphasizing that one who is listening to Krishna Katha towards Krishna's leelas, Krishna's appearance, anything, nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe. That means anything that is to do with Krishna is Krishna himself, whether it's playing the flute with the gopikas, or whether it is killing Jarasandha or, or Sishupal on the battlefield, whatever it is, all of these things, nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe. That means any topic that is relating to Krishna is Krishna himself. And those devotees who are listening to Hari Katha, Krishna says towards the end of their life, they will not come back into this material world, but they will directly go to the supreme planet of Krishna, which is called as Krishna Loka. So Krishna is offering the highest benediction, which is just impossible for a common person to do. That just that by listening to Harikatha, that Krishna is blessing us with such a big benediction. So we should just take this as a great opportunity that that we are, so fortunate that we are all being able to listen to this Krishna Katha, which is actually direct from Srimad Bhagavatam. There can't be anything. It's just a literary incarnation of Krishna. So how fortunate we are to be able to do that. So, and before I get started off, we'll just do the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasudi Gauravata. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we were just covering this chapter 60. Amoga Prabhu, last week you did some, we just went ahead with the devotees to just kind of like go through the paragraphs, isn't it? Like, so you would have covered
Yes,
this part, isn't
yes,
it?
Prabhu.
I was just wondering, maybe is there any, I think we covered quite a ground actually. We were just actually talking back where I'm just trying to see where exactly you would have stopped last week. My dear Lord, your advice is, yeah, I think we yeah, Prabhuji, maybe can you cover from here, or did you cover?
In the last session, so Krishna was still teasing Rukmini Devi.
Oh,
So,
okay. So that's okay. As a paragraph you read, but I think we covered quite a bit.
yeah, but you have covered from
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Yeah, you can continue from there.
We can just continue from here, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this. Gayatri ji, would you like to read this paragraph?
Sure, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My dear Lord, you have stated that a marriage between persons equal in social standing, beauty, riches, strength, influence, and renunciation can be a stable match. But this status of life can be possible only by your grace. You are the supreme perfectional source of all opulences. Whatever opulent status one may have is all derived from you. As described as described in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadhyasya Yathaha. You are the supreme source from which everything emanates, the reservoir of all pleasures. Therefore, persons endowed with knowledge desire only to achieve you. You are the supreme ultimate goal of life. You are the reservoir of all interests of the living entities. Those who are actually well motivated desire only you, and for this reason, they give up everything to attain success. They therefore deserve to associate with you. In the society of the servitor, in the society of the servitors and served in Krishna consciousness, one is not subjected to the pains and pleasures of material society, which functions according to sex attraction. Therefore, anyone, whether man or woman, should seek to be an associate in your society of servitors and served. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one can excel you, nor can anyone come up to an equal level with you. The perfect social system is that in which you remain in the center, being served as the Supreme, and all others engage as your servitors. In such a perfectly constructed society, everyone can remain eternally happy and blissful.
Hare
My
Krishna.
Lord,
Yeah, yes, Mataji. I'll just cover this one. Yeah. Yeah.
sure, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I'll just cover this one and then we can go with the next one. So it is we seen actually just to recap on that, we seen like how Krishna has given so many reasons why Rukmini should be leaving him, and he tried in every possible way to discourage her to put it in such a way that this marriage between Krishna and Rukmini is not between equals, because Krishna is downplaying himself that he is not a suitable match, and that the suitable match would be one of those princes like Jarasandha or Shishupal or anyone. So Krishna tried in every best way to convince her that he is not the right suitable match, but if those people of very rich people and things like that. But we know from Bhagavad Gita, when we say Krishna throughout the Harikatha, we say Sri Krishna said this, Sri Krishna said that. But when it comes to Bhagavad Gita, we say Bhagavan Uvacha, because he's someone, Bhagavan. Bhaga means opulences. One who possesses those opulences. He has those 6 opulences: unlimited strength, unlimited beauty, unlimited wisdom, unlimited renunciation, unlimited power. Everything Krishna has. So he's the source of everything. Everything is emanating from Krishna. So when everything is emanating from Rukmini is trying to reason out. She's trying to, whatever Krishna has mentioned, she's so nicely countering it with a very, very nice, pleasing way, in which, it is so much we can learn from this conversation: the art of listening, and the art of conversation, and the art of how to always respond on a very, very calm and composed way, in a way that it doesn't agitate other person, but it pleases the other person, with so much of knowledge. Because Krishna was trying to tell Rukmini that, Rukmini, you just got carried away. You did not think well, because even though you're a princess, you should have actually thought about it seriously, that maybe you'd have made a mistake. So every way he's trying to just give the benefit of doubt, like maybe you shouldn't have, but here Rukmini is so confidently, that's a beautiful thing you can find, that so confidently she's replying back and answering Krishna, that everything is emanating from Krishna. So any status of life that anybody can have, whether it's Jarasandha, whether it's anybody, whatever opulences that you're having in this material world, everything is coming from Krishna. Right? Rasoham apsikaunteya prabhasmi sasasuryo pranava sarvaveyesu sabdake paurisham rishu. Even the ability on every person, even that is also the ability, the strength. Everything is coming from Krishna. Krishna says, I am the strength of the strong, right? I am the intelligence of the intelligent. So everything, he is the source for you. That's the reason why in Vedanta Sutra it is mentioned as Janmadi Asya Yataha. That means everything is coming from Krishna. In fact, so the two things, important things is, on one side, the Shastras or the Srimad Bhagavatam tells, on the Vedanta Sutra itself is mentioning that Krishna is the source, and Krishna himself is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita, where he is saying, Aham sarvasya prabhuvo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Which means, I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. Everything in the spiritual and the material worlds, everything is emanating from Krishna. And the devotees who know that Krishna is the origin of all these material and spiritual worlds, they engage in complete devotion to Krishna. Because now they understand that Krishna, everything is coming from Krishna. So the most important thing is having the knowledge is very, very important. And that knowledge comes from by reading Bhagavatam, that knowledge comes by reading Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, we will only find in today's world, especially in our Hinduism, or you can say Sanatan Dharma, you can find a lot of people are speculating. They speculate, I think all gods are the same. I think, there's one of the incarnation. I think the Supreme Brahma is the main thing. It is not Krishna. So like that, people come up with their own concepts. But once you read Bhagavad Gita, and once you read Bhagavatam, a lot of these questions will get clarified. Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnana jamahsama nasayamyo bhavostu jnana deepena bhashuta. Krishna says to show special mercy to his devotee, he says, I hold the lamp of knowledge. I burn down all the karma, all the ignorance which is born of, all the darkness which is born of ignorance. Because there's so much of ignorance. There's so much of darkness in our life because of ignorance. Right? Because we do not have knowledge. So Krishna is saying, when we take the devotion of Krishna, he's saying with the lamp of knowledge, he destroys all this ignorance which is born, the ignorance that is there in each person's life. So this is what happens when we are engaging in bhakti towards Krishna. It is not a one-way thing. It's a two-way. That means when we are engaging in Krishna's divine devotional service, Krishna is also reciprocating. So he's reciprocating by removing all the ignorance in our life. Then we will be able to come to the realization that who we are and what's our relationship with Krishna. In fact, the very purpose why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where Krishna came in the form of a devotee called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is to do this. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And what does this Hare Krishna Mahamantra do? It enters into your ear, it cleanses your heart, cleanses your mind, and after cleansing, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, it's like a complete cleansing. It cleanses everything. And then in that, when your heart and your mind is purified, then you will be able to understand that who am I and what is my relationship with Krishna. So it's very important. It's such a beautiful thing, isn't it? So Krishna comes as a devotee called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives us this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when we take this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it cleanses our heart and cleanses our mind, and then it purifies completely our consciousness. And in that purified consciousness, we will be able to understand our relationship with Krishna, and we will be able to enjoy the association with Krishna. And when you have that kind of realization, it is much even higher than the realization of Brahman. As you can see over here, he's saying like, you are the supreme source from where everything manages, the reservoir of all pleasure. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarva bloka maheshwaram. Right? He is the supreme Brahman. He is the supreme enjoyer, and everything is emanating from Krishna. And to achieve your favor, they gave up everything. The devotees of Krishna, they even give up the transcendental realization of Brahman. Because why the devotees of Krishna give up even the transcendental realization of Brahman? Because they know that even the Brahman, the supreme Brahman, is also emanating from Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Just like the sunshine is emanating from the sun, similarly, this Brahman called the Brahma Jyoti is coming from Krishna. Brahmano hi pratistaham amrutasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya hi dharmasya sukasya ikantikasya cha. Krishna says, Arjuna, I am the basis for the impersonal Brahman. I am the basis. So Krishna is saying from him, this Brahma is, this Jyoti is coming up. In fact, in this material world, we need to have the sunshine, we need to have the sun, we need to have the moon. But Krishna says, Natadvasayate suryo na shashanka na pavakaha yadgatva na nivartante taddama paramam mama. Krishna is giving us a teaser, an idea about his supreme planet called Goloka Vrindavan. He says, Krishna is saying, Arjuna, in my planet, my supreme planet, Krishna Loka, there is no sun, no moon. There is no need for the sun and moon. Everything is emanating from the Brahma Jyoti. And from where it is coming from? By the presence of Krishna. And a person who reaches this supreme planet, he never comes back again. And that's what Krishna is saying. And here Rukmini is giving her realizations. You are the supreme ultimate goal of life. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshish Nivasa Saranam Shiv. You are the supreme goal of life. We all talk about small goals, like, mid-term goals, short-term goals, long-term goals. But our actual goal is to go back to Goloka Vrindavan. Our actual goal. In fact, the very purpose of, if Bhagavad Gita is to give us this knowledge where Krishna is telling, very interestingly, very cryptically, if you refer to chapter number 15, Krishna is called as Purushottama Yoga. Krishna talks about an inverted banyan tree, which has its roots upward, which means upward in the sense, the roots are there in the Krishna Loka, and the branches are in this material world. And Krishna says one must cut down this attachment in this material world and go back to your hometown or your home planet from where we all came from, the Goloka Vrindavan. And in that, go back out there and then surrender to Krishna from where everything has begun. So whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to give us that realization, to understand who we are, who Krishna is, and to also understand this material world is not the only world. Beyond this material world is subjected to creation, maintenance, and destruction. Again, creation, maintenance, destruction, this keeps happening in this material universe. But Krishna is saying, apart from this, there is another universe which is called as the supreme planet, this is a completely spiritual world, which is 3/4, and the material world is only 1/4. And Krishna is talking about that because we all come from the spiritual world. And it's so beautiful because he says, Parastasmad bhavanyo vyakta vyakta sanatana. So very Krishna, the very meaning of the original name of Hinduism is called as Sanatan Dharma. So Krishna is kind of explaining us that we all belong to Sanatana Dharma. The Jivatma is called as Sanatana. Krishna is called as Sanatana. And the place from where we come from the supreme planet in the spiritual world, that is called Sanatana. And that's the reason why our religion is called as Sanatana Dharma, because it's an eternal religion. And Prabhupada so nicely explained about it, that we are eternal, Krishna is eternal, Nitya Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. Krishna is a person and we are also a person. We are part and parcel of Krishna. And the whole idea of giving us this Bhagavad Gita is to give you the realization from where you have actually come and to finish all your job over here. Don't be attached to anything. Just live your life in this world. This is the life guide I'm giving you. While you're living in this material world, follow this material, this life guide. Follow according to my instructions. Follow this. Don't be attached to anything. Do your duty. Do everything as an offering to me. And towards the end of your life, remember me and come back to my hometown. Come back to our home planet, which is Goloka Vrindavan. It's such a beautiful, for me, I feel Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful letter from a father to a son, telling my son, you're stuck up in this material world. Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Mana Shastri Nindriyani, Prakriti Sani Karshati. You're all part and parcel of me, Krishna is saying. You are a divine soul and you belong to me, but you have fallen into this material world because of your karmas that you've done from so many lives. But now realize this, don't be attached to anything, because anything that you're attached, it will stick the karma will stick onto you like a sticky glue, and for which you'll have to again come back into this material. So don't be attached to anything, just only be attached to me. The whole point of Bhagavad Gita, where if you see Arjuna, in the beginning he says, Na yotse iti Govinda. Arjuna says, Krishna, no, I'm not going to fight Krishna. After explaining the whole Bhagavad Gita, then he says, yeah, Krishna, for your satisfaction, I'm going to fight. Yeah. Karishya Vachanam Tava. So the whole thing, Prabhupada kind of summarizes saying, Hari Samsiddhim Haritoshanam. The whole concept of Krishna consciousness is Samsiddhim Haritoshanam, meaning doing everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. So follow the instructions that Krishna is given in Bhagavad Gita, follow the instruction that Krishna has come in the form of a devotee called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that the whole objective of why Krishna wants us to, giving us this, came as a devotee, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also as giving us the Bhagavad Gita, is so that he loves us so much that he doesn't want us to suffer in this material, because this material world was designed, it's like a Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. Krishna says this is a place of suffering and you are like trying to enjoy in this place. It's not possible, so just live your life, come back according to my instructions. So Rukmini is so nicely, she's mentioning you are the ultimate supreme goal of life. And those who are well motivated decide, and for this they give up everything to attain success. So that's the reason why the best example why we need to know the Harikatha is you are the reservoir of all the interests of the live. So Krishna is all attractive. He attracts everyone. And those who are well-motivated desire only birth. Because so people who are actually knowledgeable, who understand that this material world is a temporary place, and who understand that our actual dharma is to serve, the actual dharma of a Atma is to serve the Paramatma. Once you realize that, then you only desire to serve Krishna only. Nothing else matters. We are not going to be attached to any other demigod. We are not attached to any other things in this material world. Our only desire is to live for Krishna. And we've seen that we have the best example, the Goswamis, 6 Goswamis. They were having ministerial positions in the Kazi kingdom. But in spite of that, they left everything and they surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so this is what it is. Why? Because Krishna also explains, Vesaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopasya param drisva nivartate. Why the people are only motivated desire is only Krishna? Why is it that their motivated desire is only Krishna? Why? Because they have experienced a higher taste of serving Krishna. So when you will never leave away your material life and go behind Krishna, unless you get a taste of Krishna Bhakti, unless we get a taste of how joyful it is to serve Krishna. Only when we get that taste, and that taste will come when we're trying to serve Krishna. That is why Prabhupada always said, not devotion, but devotional service. That means if you want to understand Krishna, if you want to fall in love with Krishna, if you want to develop the taste for loving Krishna, the one and only way is to serve Krishna. in the mood of devotion. That's why Prabhupada very clearly emphasized devotional service. Samsiddhim haritoshanam, doing everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. And when you experience that taste, that joy that it gives, whether you're singing kirtan for Krishna, whether you're singing arti for Krishna, or whether you're going and serving Mahaprasadam for Krishna, or whether you're singing a bhajan for Krishna, or whether you're giving some speech to the outside people for Krishna, anything where you're keeping Krishna in the center. It's very nicely mentioned that on a check, you may write any number of zeros. It has no value. But if you put one before it, then automatically the check will have a lot of value, right? So Krishna is like that one before all the zeros. And no matter, these zeros are like your material opulences, the material, whatever we can talk about, like, in this, you can earn so much of material opulences and all these things, but all that is zero unless you have Krishna in the front, which has a one. So that's the reason why Krishna so nicely is mentioned, yat karosi, yat asnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi, kaunteya, tat purusumadarpanam. Arjuna, if you want to eat, you only eat, but offer to me for sacrifice and then you eat. Then it will become karma-free food. Arjuna, if you want to buy a house, buy food, definitely. You buy and you only live, but just name the house as some Krishna Nilayam or nicely, and just give one room for Krishna, and just nice prayer room for Krishna, a divine space for Krishna. And that will become your Devalayam, So like that, Krishna is saying, like, do whatever. If you want to do charity, yeah, go ahead and do, but do it in my name. Do it for me, give it in a Krishna temple. So like that, Krishna is telling us, do everything so that when you are engaged in doing everything, that will not become karma or vikarma, it will become akarma. That means akarma means doing everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. So in that case, there will be no auspiciousness, inauspicious, nothing. We are doing only to satisfy Krishna. And that is the way, and that's the way Krishna is recommending in Bhagavad Gita. Do everything for me, akarma. Do everything for the pleasure of Krishna. So that towards the end of your life, no more coming back. Because even if you do something good in the mode of goodness, for that also to enjoy the benefits of that, the reaction for that, we will have to again come back into this material world. So the devotees of Krishna are only interested in Krishna because they're not interested in doing some charity and again come back to enjoy the benefits of the charity. They just want to only desire Krishna. So when they desire only thing and when they're doing everything only for Krishna, then they're doing it in the mode of akarma, just doing it for the Krishnas. So they deserve to be associated with you. So this is what it is. And how do we associate with Krishna in this material world? By always chanting the holy name of Krishna. Because when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, immediately we are in association with Krishna. Immediately. In fact, when we're chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Prabhupada says Krishna is dancing on your tongue, He's there and he's so happy that we have turned our face away from the material world but turned towards Krishna. In the society served in Krishna consciousness, one is not subjected to claims. Why? Because in the society of servitors and served in Krishna consciousness, why one is not subjected to the pleasures and pains? Why? The very reason why we get subjected to pain and pleasures is because of our attachment, right? If you're nobody can cause you pain unless you are attached to that person, right? So let's say if some stranger is trying to say, treats you badly or do something like that, you don't feel like he's a stranger and you'll just wash it off or you'll just say, okay, something. But somebody like a loved ones, someone who's your blood relation, someone who's very close to you, someone who you trusted so much, and that person causes you pain, then that cheats you, then it becomes a big pain. But for a person who's Krishna consciousness, his whole concentration and he's dovetailing all his senses in pleasing Krishna, in practicing Krishna consciousness. So when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, our craving and our craving towards pains and pleasures in this material society slowly starts diminishing. In fact, one of the benefits that you get by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is it reduces our craving for material things. Because the material things are such a thing, they're just like pouring petrol over a fire. They keep burning and burning all the time. But Krishna consciousness gives you that kind of a higher taste that you will no more slowly, you can find yourself, you can experience yourself that you're reducing your interest in the pleasures and pains of the material society. You no more are interested so much. And so therefore, everyone, whether man or woman, should seek to be in the association in your society of servitors. And as we all know rightly, Prabhupada has started this society which is called as ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and this is the society we're talking about, to associate in the Society of Servitors. So this is a platform. Krishna Prabhupada has given us this platform called ISKCON, where all the people, they can be a society of servitors, all the Vaishnavas, all the brahmachari, everybody, a society of all different kind of Krishna bhaktas, where they can come together and serve, which is what we're trying to do in Manor, right? We are trying to come together and trying to serve Krishna. The whole thing is, no matter, I may not agree with you, you may not agree with me, but both of us, we agree that we have to serve Krishna, because Krishna is in the center. In fact, in this material world, we are always fighting because of the big I, I, ego kind of a thing. But if we keep Krishna in the center, then this I kind of a business will go off, and we'll always be in the mode of we serving Krishna. And as Rukmini Devi mentioned, and so Prabhupada has rightly mentioned about the Society of Servitors, and so on. In fact, Krishna himself says, right? If you tie all the dots, what does Krishna say? Matchitta madgata pranam bodhayante parasparam katayanchasya mam nityam tusyanti cha ramanti cha. Krishna is saying, my devotees are always thinking of me, and they get great satisfaction and bliss by always enlightening each other about Harikatha, about some new bhajans, about some chanting, and all so many different things, which is what here Rukmini is mentioning, the perfect social system in which you remain in the center. Everything, nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe, anything that is related only to Krishna, that is Krishna himself, being served and others engaged in this perfectly constructed society, which is ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Everyone can remain eternally happy and blissful. Rukmini Devi is saying everybody can remain eternally happy and blissful in this association of the Society of Krishna Bhaktas, and which is why Prabhupada has given us this platform called ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, so that all the like-minded Krishna devotees can come together and they can serve Krishna and keep Krishna in the center, and which is exactly what we're doing. We are, in fact, our Prabhupada has so kindly given us this society that all of us, we are seeing like what we can relate to what Rukmini Devi is saying here, because this is what we are doing actually. We have a platform where we are serving Krishna together. And this is the way to remain eternally happy and blissful. So we have to understand that in this material world, whatever happiness that we get is flickering happiness. People drink, and next day morning you have a hangover. And there's a saying that a person who drinks to drown his sorrow doesn't know that sorrow knows how to swim. People who drink to drown their sorrow, they don't know that sorrow knows how to swim, So they only think that, yeah, I had to drown my sorrow, so let me just drink it. But again, the problem doesn't go away. It knows how to swim. And tomorrow morning, again, it's going to come back, knocking on your door. But the way in which you can eternally be happy is talking about Harikatha, talking about Krishna, chanting the holy name. This is the way to be happy and blissful. So here, through people say, what do we get by Harikatha? Harikatha is giving us the knowledge that the true happiness lies in serving Krishna, right? So that is why it's very important to get this knowledge from Krishna, from Harikatha. Can I request anyone to maybe read the next one? My Lord, you have stated only the bit. Anybody would like to go?
I can do this.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. My Lord, you have stated that only the beggars praise your glories, and that is also perfectly correct. But who are those beggars? Those beggars are all exalted devotees, liberated personalities, and those in the renounced order of the life. They are great souls and devotees who have no other business than to glorify you. Such great souls forgive even the worst offenders. These so called beggars execute their spiritual advancement in life, tolerating all tribulations in the material world. My dear husband, do not think that I accepted you as my husband out of my inexperience. Actually, I followed all these great souls. I followed the path of these great beggars and decided to surrender my life onto your lotus feet.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. That's wonderful. I mean, you can see, quote unquote, like, Krishna was trying to, provoke Rukmini in every way so that maybe she may get angry and maybe she may leave and things like that. But Rukmini is so beautifully. I mean, there's so much to learn from the collectively. In the beginning, she was a bit anxious, going through some anxiety that because of the way Krishna spoke. But later, how nicely Rukmini's Devi is replying back, right? You can see the art of replying back, how nicely she's mentioned. And because Krishna was saying, like, you see only the beggars are placing my glories and things like this. So he was trying to put down Rukmini, kind of put her off, saying that, see my devotees, they're all beggars, kind of thing, that's kind of a person. But Rukmini is trying to put that in perspective. She's saying the beggars are all exalted devotees. And the beauty thing about our sampradaya is, like, we come in this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Brahma Madhava, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So we have all the best examples of exalted devotees, right? And the beauty is Krishna himself coming in the avatar of a devotee called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to show us how to be an exalted devotee, where every time Hare, he was always chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, right? And his disciples, again, they are like all the 6 Goswamis, all of them, they left all this money. It is said that, when Rupa Goswami, and when he left the job, he had so much of gold that, but he, at the time when he was leaving. So why would anybody leave all that and just go behind by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So these are the exalted devotees who could understand a higher purpose and a more permanent joy. The actual joy is in serving Krishna. And so these people, because in this material world, no matter how much rich you are, how much great you are, you could be the most famous celebrity or earning so much of money, but you can see that all of these people, they will not have the devotion. Why? Krishna himself says, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasa vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhavana vidiyate. Krishna himself is saying, people who are completely consumed, people who are completely bewildered by this material sense enjoyment, material opulences. Krishna himself is saying, people who are so attached to this sense enjoyment and material opulences, for them, the devotional service to Krishna will not take place. Can you imagine what a sad thing that when you are consumed and your consciousness is completely contaminated by material opulences and all these things, for those people cannot even approach Krishna because they are completely bewildered by these opulences. They think that this is the greatest thing, just to enjoy this sense enjoyment. And I have so much of opulences, I have so much of real estate, I have so much of this thing, I have so much of power. So they get consumed by all of this. And for those kind of people, it's very difficult to approach Krishna because they're covered by the 3 gunas, more of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, right? That's the reason why they will not, because they're in the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance. But if you see these exalted deity, devotees, like the 6 Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they are exalted devotees. They are not under the influence of the 3 modes of material nature. They are not only in Guna, they're in the mode of Suddha Sattva Guna, pure mode of goodness, not just mode of goodness, but pure mode of goodness. They're completely elevated. In fact, Krishna himself says, Traigunya Visya Veda, Nistray Gunyo Bhavarjina, Nirdvandva Nitya Sattvasto, Niryoga Shomeva. Krishna himself says, Arjuna, try to elevate yourself above the 3 modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Krishna himself is saying, you have to elevate yourself above these 3 modes of goodness and passion. And how to elevate ourselves beyond these 3 gunas? Krishna himself again says, Mamchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate se sagunan samityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Where Krishna is saying, one who's always engaged in glorifying Krishna, in bhakti towards Krishna, one who's always unfailing in all circumstances, one who's always engaging in devotional service to Krishna, he will be able to transcend these 3 modes of material nature. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Daivi hayesha guna maya mama maya duratya. Krishna says, Arjuna, this divine energy of mine, this material energy is so powerful, you cannot cross this, Arjuna. But one who takes to the devotional service, one who takes to the surrender of Krishna, they can cross over it. Krishna himself is saying that. Daivi hayesha guna maya mama maya duratya mamevaya prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. The people who are surrendered to me, they can cross over. So these exalted devotees, they are completely liberated personality. They're not coming under this Mahamaya. They're completely above these 3 modes of material nature. They have given up all these things because living in this material and being attached to this material opulences means to be under the control of this Maya. these three modes of material nature. But coming out of these things, they may, even though in this material world, they may look like beggars, but they are the most elevated person because they are above these three modes of material and they are closer to Krishna. And such great souls can even forgive even the worst offenders because they can understand, because great souls and great Mahatmanas, right? Mahatmanas tu mam partha daivam pakrita ashrita. He said, this Mahatma, these great people, they even forgive the worst offender because they understand, like, somebody who's doing offenders and things like, they're covered by these three modes of material nature. They understand that, they are being influenced by this thing. In fact, Arjuna asks, isn't it? Arjuna asks Krishna, why is it that even though we don't want to do some sinful things, why are we doing it, Krishna? What is it that prompting us? And then Krishna says, right? Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna, samudva. Arjuna, it's only lust, Arjuna. When a person comes into contact with the modes of material nature, this lust develops, Arjuna, and this lust develops into anger and things like that. Krishna explains all that in Bhagavad Gita. So because why? Because of lust. Anybody who's enjoying in this material world, we are covered by the different degrees of lust. But these exalted devotees, even they may sound like beggars, but they're in the most exalted devotees because they have crossed these three modes and in the renounced order of life. When you say renounced order of life, they're living in this material world, but they're completely not attached to anything relating to this material world. And their only business is to glorify. So they're completely above. And that's the reason why you see Sanatan Dharma and Rupa Goswami. What kind of a Sanatan Goswami, what kind of experiences they have with Krishna, right? Amazing experiences that they have. So it's like, so they're in the kind of like books that have written, the nectar of devotion and things like that. Can you imagine? So because they have gone to such an extent after chanting, they're such purified souls because they've been chanting so much, that this is what happens. And this is the beauty about Sanatan Dharma, that it gives you the hope and it gives you the kind of living examples that anybody can transform himself to be the greatest devotee of the Lord. Even though you could be a hunter, you could be a worst person, you can always transform yourself. And that's the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, that even though they were worst kind of a people during Jagai and Madha, even at those kind of a people, they were ready to, excuse them and take them into the bhakti life. Krishna is so kind. He's ready to even forgive them also. So because they understand the higher taste of the spiritual life, they're ready to tolerate all the tribulations in this material world. Because they understand this material world is a world of suffering, and they understand this is a world of duality, right? Krishna says, right, Matras versus to Kaunteya, Shitosana Sukha Dukkada, Agama Payino Nityas Tam Titiksasva Bharata. Krishna says, Arjuna, this non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and the disappearance is just like the summer and winter season. They arise from the sense perception, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So these are the exalted devotees who have just taken who are just literally following Bhagavad Gita. They have taken up the Bhagavad Gita and they followed the Bhagavad Gita. And that's the reason why you can tolerate. You can see even now also, people who do not have Krishna in their lives, even a small problem looks like a big problem for them. And they don't know where else to go. They don't know how to escape from the problem. And that's the reason why people commit suicides, because they don't know where else, how can they escape? They get into mental depression, mental health problems, and all these things. But a person who's in Krishna consciousness, he's so much focused in Krishna consciousness that even if it's a big problem, it's just, he considers that as a small problem or something which is insignificant, because every problem is magnified to the extent how much we give importance to it. So that's the reason why you can see that they are able to tolerate. Because why? Because it gives you the spiritual strength. By practicing Krishna consciousness, we get the spiritual strength. And with that strength, you can tolerate all these temptations in this material world or the tribulations in this material world. Evam buddhva param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmanaha jahi satrum mahabaho. So Krishna himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, the lust is what is causing you to do all kind of sinful things, Arjuna. But the best way we can overcome this is Krishna is saying is by developing your spiritual intelligence, by developing your spiritual strength. By developing your spiritual strength, you can conquer this enemy which is known as lust. So you can see these exalted devotees, they're not beggars, they're exalted devotees who are just come over above all these three modes of guna, and they have developed so much of a spiritual strength that they can withstand any temptations that come up in this material world. So Rukmini is saying it's not like blindly accepted you, Krishna. I have done so much of homework. Sometimes when a marriage thing is happening, they may just look like they are accepted. But these days, what people do, they go to Facebook and they'll see like, okay, before marrying, what is this person's contacts looking like? Whom is he associating on the social media? They try to do some homework, isn't it? Nowadays, when before people getting married, they try to go and see in LinkedIn, go and see, on Facebook, everywhere, what is this person up to, kind of thing. So that's quite common. I heard that so many times actually, where people before getting married, they do that. So, but here, Rukmini is saying, Krishna, I done my homework. He is actually following all the great devotees, actually, exalted devotees, even like Narada Muni, and also people who have, and listening, because Rukmini, even before listening, even seeing Krishna, she heard about Krishna. And this is the best way to see Krishna. People say, how can I see God? So Prabhupada very nicely explains that all these are senses, right? The sense of, vision, sense of hearing, sense of touch, all these are different senses. But instead of focusing on your material sense of seeing, try to see Krishna through your ears by hearing about Krishna. That's the way you see Krishna. And this is what Rukmini has done. The Kauravas, where the Krishna was standing in front of Kauravas, they were able to see Krishna, but still they couldn't realize that Krishna is God. But here, on the other hand, Rukmini, she did not see Krishna, but she heard about Krishna and she fell in love with Krishna. That here is the Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and I'm going to only marry him and nobody else. You see the difference, contrast difference. So that is what is important. So he was saying, like, basically, I'm just followed these exalted devotees and not you. And similarly, like Rukmini, if you remember in Bhagavad Gita also, when Arjuna is praising Krishna, he says, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhava. And Arjuna praising Krishna, he says, Krishna, you are the supreme truth, you are the source of everything. The Narada, Asita, Vyasa, and all of them, they told about you, and you yourself are telling about yourself like this. So even Arjuna also heard about Krishna, not that Krishna is talking about in Bhagavad Gita, but Arjuna is saying, I also heard about you from Asita, from Vyasadeva and Narada. And now again, you are also telling that. Now, so this is the way to confirm, right? So the devotees are telling, and now Krishna himself is telling. So we had to depend like that. That's how our faith is not blind faith. Our faith is based on the Shastras and from what Krishna himself has said. I just want to cover one more paragraph if anybody would like to read. You have said you are penniless. That one? Sanchiti ji or anybody? Vrindavan Prabhu, Sweta ji?
I'll do it. Sorry, I have to unmute and mute and unmute.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Hang on a minute. I'm coming. All right, what am I doing? Okay, let's get my glasses off. You have said that you are penniless, and that is correct. For you distribute yourself completely to these great souls and devotees. Knowing this fact perfectly well, I rejected even such great personalities as Lord Brahma and King Indra. My Lord, the great time factor acts under your direction only. The time factor is so great and powerful that within moments it can effect devastation anywhere within the creation. Considering all these factors, I thought Jarasandha, Sisupatala, and similar princesses who wanted to marry me be no more important than ordinary insects. My dear, all-powerful son of Vasudeva, your statement that you have taken shelter within the water of the ocean out of fear of all the great princesses is quite unsuitable, for my experience with you contradicts this. I've actually seen that you kidnapped me forcibly in the presence of all these princesses at the time of my marriage ceremony simply by giving a jerk to the string of your bow. You very easily drove the others away and kindly gave me shelter at your lotus feet. I still remember vividly how you kidnapped me in the same way that a lion forcibly takes its share of hunted booty, driving away all the small animals within the twinkling of an eye.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Very, very nice. Yeah, so Rukmini is literally taking each and every statement that Krishna mentioned, whether he's saying like, I'm not as good as Jarasandha, I'm not as powerful as them, I'm not as rich as them, I'm not in the same social society status kind of there as them and things like that. And so one of the things he also said that, that I'm penniless and yeah, so whatever even though Krishna is trying to downplay and Rukmini is now supporting whatever Krishna has said. So it's such a beautiful way she's trying to complement what Krishna is saying, like, but trying to add and putting it in the perspective, such a nice perspective, which doesn't, which kind of like explaining to Krishna what is her perspective of Krishna, not just simply like blindly believing. Because sometimes people may say something and you may take them at face value, you may just come up with, okay, yeah, I agree what you're saying, kind of. But here, Rukmini has a mind of her own. She's coming up with her own thinking, like, yeah, this is what it is. I have chosen you because I am following the footstep of the great devotees who have actually glorified you. And I already heard about you before that. And now she's saying you're penniless. Yeah, that's true, because you have distributed yourself to the great souls as the devotees. And as we all know, Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhuna vinasaya tu duskritam. He mainly comes for the pleasure of his devotees. He distributes, and that's the reason why Krishna again come in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to distribute Krishna Prema. And that's the whole objective of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation. Rama is called as Maryada Purushottama. Krishna is called as Leela Purushottama. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called as Prema Purushottama. He came to give Krishna Prema to everyone. And here, this is what Rukmini is talking about. You're distributing your prema to all these great souls and devotees. And then knowing this, how Krishna is like, there for all his devotees and sharing his, whether it's the Gopikas or whether it's the 16,000 princes and anybody, he's distributing his love to everyone. Anybody who comes to Krishna, he's always, ye yatamam prapajyante tam statai babajam. According to how much of love you're showing to me, Krishna is always distributing his love equal or even more to that. And and knowing this great guna of Krishna, that Rukmini is saying, I rejected even the great personalities like Brahma and Indra. And she knew about this time factor also. The time factor is great. I mean, you can see the knowledge that was there in the time of Dwapara Yuga, that everybody was so knowledgeable, not to speak about Rukmini Devi. She's like the goddess of the fortune. And so even she realized that, the time factor is so great that it can devastate. That's what happens, isn't it? This material world always goes through these three phases of creation, maintenance, and destruction. Again, creation, maintenance, that's how we have this 4 yugas also. But apart from that, there's another separate spiritual world, which is Krishna Loka, which doesn't go through this creation and devastation. This happens only in this material world. And considering all these factors, so just imagine she's considering Jarasandha and Shishupala, whom Krishna was trying to glorify just to provoke her, that they're just not even important as ordinary insects. Look at the way she is looking at them. Even though, of course, they were no match for Krishna. Krishna was just using his every way to just provoke her. But in Rukmini's eyes, they're as good as, they're nothing greater than even insects. And Krishna says that, you see how scared I am. I took shelter in the water of an ocean. That's what Krishna told Rukmini earlier. Out of fear of Jarasandha, out of fear of Shishupal. But it's not true, isn't it? Because Jarasandha Krishna defeated 17 times. Why would he be fear of them? Fear of him, right? And also later he left the battlefield also because so that he was responding to Rukmini. So Rukmini is saying this is not quite so. It's quite unsuitable. For my experience contradicts this. So, like somebody who's already had a first-time experience, you can't tell them something which contradicts their experience, right? Because Rukmini also already had this experience where she said, like, I've actually seen you. The way Krishna, when she written a letter asking Krishna to come and pick up, Rukmini writes a letter to Krishna. Krishna so royally, he comes on this chariot just in front of everyone. He just literally takes her. She was just coming back from a temple. Krishna takes her, puts her in the chariot. In the presence of all the princes, he just goes away. He's not scared of anyone at all. And such a beautiful pastime where Krishna is just riding on the chariot and Balram are all going. And then you find Rukmini's brother, chasing them, giving them a big chase, and then how Yadav army fights with them and things like that. So it's like all a beautiful pastime. So and Rukmini has witnessed it with her own eyes. She literally seen this happening in front of her eyes, that how Krishna so royally came and did. He was not scared of them. And at the time of the marriage ceremony, he simply, by the jerk of a string of his bow, he you very drove away everybody and gave shelter. So Rukmini has seen how courageous Krishna is. She's seen how powerful Krishna is. In fact, just at the mercy, he was ready to even kill Rukmini's brother. But because Rukmini has requested Krishna not to kill him, he just left her off like that. And such a nice comparison that she's given, the way Krishna went and kidnapped or taken away Rukmini. It was just like a lion forcefully taking away share of hunted beauty, driving away the small animals. And we see that, right? We see so many videos on YouTube these days where how a lion, and it literally shows that it's is the king of the jungle. So when they find the small, hyenas and all of them trying to just take the share of the booty, and the lion just simply takes away the small animal with it. So Rukmini, at every time, in such a beautiful way, even though Krishna is tried her best to give all these things, we can see such a wonderful way Rukmini is replying back. In a way, she's again glorifying Krishna and kind of like justifying everything that Krishna said, but in the right perspective. And just trying to explain whatever Krishna said, saying that, and just trying to give her perspective of what her understanding about it. So I want to just stop over here, just in the interest of respecting all of your time, and then we're going to just start off. We will continue in the next session. So just want to ask any comments. Hare Krishna, Vrindavan Prabhu, Prabhuji, thank you for joining us.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Vrindavan Prabhuji. So nice to have your association. Saurabh Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I came for late.
Prabhuji. Your association itself is important.
I coming late. Also, I today's Chaitanya Bhagavata study, and quarter past 8, and then today's.
Your association itself, Prabhu. You see, out of all the names, your name is shown as Vrindavan. So having your association is like being in Vrindavan. You are from Vrindavan. You are a Brajavasi. So what more can we expect? What more can be more glorious than having the association of a Brajavasi directly from? So you're literally putting us in Vrindavan. So,
yeah, speaking on Krishna Lila story.
Sanchitaji, Swetaji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So nice to hear about Krishna from you. It's amazing.
Thank you, Swetaji, for giving your association. It's always so joyful, isn't it? Sometimes it's like a brakeless car, it just keeps floating. Sometimes I don't know where to stop because there's so much of nectar.
Yes. It's like I feel like keep on listening. Don't stop.
and I'm also in the same mode. I'm just controlling myself and saying, okay, you know what? No, it's a time. I had to put a timer because I know I can just keep going on and on and on.
Yeah.
Because this is Krishna, right? Krishna is unlimited. Krishna is unlimited.
Yeah.
Krishna is full of nectar, and this is the testimony. People say, like, how can you explain the Krishna Bhakti? That's the reason why I feel like, I remember once in Soho temple, and there was somebody who came in and said, like, I don't feel like chanting, but how do I get to love Krishna? How can I love Krishna if I don't feel like it? And that Mataji said, till you really love it, just fake it. Just fake it that you what did she say? Like, she said fake it. But then the thing, what I feel is like the best way to fall in love with Krishna is just take the Krishna book,
Yes, reading. Yes.
Just read the Krishna book. Just read the Krishna book in the association of devotees, and then you will fall in love with Krishna. Because unless we know the personality of someone, how can we fall in love with anyone? How can we say, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parichajya Mamekam Saranam Braja. He says, surrender unto me, and just only unto me. Just surrender only unto me, and I will protect you. But how can we surrender if you don't have Krishna Prema? If you see in today's material world, everywhere, a wife surrenders to her husband because there is a prema over there. Wherever there's prema, there's going to be a surrender. And that's the reason why Krishna came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna says that when Prabhupada nicely explained, when Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita, surrender unto me, nobody could understand how to surrender and why should I surrender. So he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to tell us, okay, whoever, whether it's devotees or non-devotees, just keep giving Krishna prema.
Yes.
And give the Krishna prema, someday he's going to surrender.
Yes, definitely. It's amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, that's how it works actually. Otherwise, it's very difficult, isn't it? How can we surrender if we don't have any knowledge about Krishna? How can
Yes.
we, and unless we purify our heart, because by listening to Harikatha, by chanting the Hare Krishna, I think that's why reason very important to get the right perspective and the right clarity of knowledge is very important. That why do we need chanting? Why do we need Harikatha? Is because these two things, they purify your consciousness. And in
Yes.
purified consciousness, we will be able to experience the love for Krishna. Not in the, no, otherwise it's very difficult to experience that love for Krishna in the
Yeah.
because we are sailing in multiple boats. One leg we have in the material world, one leg we have in this one week. So in that contaminated consciousness, it's very difficult to develop such love, which is what Krishna is saying, Bhogaishwarya Prasaktanam. He says your mind is so contaminated with so many material things that bhakti will not take place. Krishna himself is saying. That's the reason
Yeah.
why to give us this easy process as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. Just dance, just chant,
Dance. Yes. Chant.
Mahaprasadam. That's it. One fine day you'll become a devotee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sritaji. Saurabh
Yes.
Prabhu, with Sanchit ji, Yamaga Prabhu, anyone has any comments, corrections, anything at all? Gayatri ji.
Very good, Sham. Very good. Very good summary. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
You explain it very well, which is really nice. You make it so interactive. Not only it's interactive, but your explanation is just fantastic. Your summary is just, you can't fall asleep. You know what I mean? It's just you want to listen to more and more and more. Basically, we could carry on for another hour, but yeah, no, very good. Well done. You're gifted. Well done. Well done.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. I think it's divine arrangement that we became good friends in the temple, and we always enjoy each other's association. Just the
Yes.
that sometimes we don't need to talk for hours and hours together. Just sitting next to each other and just
Just exactly
doing
that.
it is that itself is association. That
Yes. 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 We
there's a
have
wireless, there's a wireless connection.
The vibrations are there.
Yeah, the for outsiders it's wireless connection, but for us it's wireless vibration of transcendental sound vibration.
Yeah.
Krishna.
Good. Well done.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And Ram Navami is coming up. Another beautiful event is coming up, and I was asked to speak about Lord Ram from Ramayana, some topic from Ramayana. So I just seek all of your blessings so that I will be speaking this Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Manor,
Where?
in Manor, in the festival for the love feast. So hopefully.
Oh, excellent. In the morning or after evening?
After evening, 5 o'clock.
Oh,
So
good. Okay. Well, I will be there. I'll be there.
Hopefully, I will be able to do some justice. I'm just preparing you my mind. Hopefully, I should be able to do that.
Yeah, I got no accommodation this weekend. I might need to sleep in the car. Haha. We'll see. We'll see.
Krishna will make some arrangement, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Is there any other comments? There are no other comments. Then I would like to maybe. Yeah, Gayatri ji, would you have anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Not really, Prabhu. It was wonderful, wonderful class. That's all I wanted to say. Also, yes, Prabhu. One small question, Prabhu. When you were talking about how our own people hurt us, like when someone else says something to us or does something to us, it doesn't hurt that much. But our own people, when they do something, it really hurts deep. So why is it like that, Prabhu? Why does it hurt more? First of all.
Yeah.
And second of all, how to deal with this when we are in Krishna consciousness, how to overcome that.
Yeah, that is true. See, there is something called prarabdha karma, like a karma which is coming from so many lifetimes. And if you see the story of Dhritarashtra, right? 50 lifetimes before, Dhritarashtra, he asked Vidura, why am I suffering like this? Why do I have to live a situation where I get to know that my 100 sons have been killed? And the pain that I'm going through, why am I suffering like this? Dhritarashtra asks Vidura, and Vidura explains to Dhritarashtra, 50 lifetimes before, you went and tried to kill a bird, and the bird flew away. And because you missed killing the bird, you went and destroyed all the eggs, 100 eggs that the bird has laid. You went and killed, literally, ruined all the 100 eggs that have been. And because of that bad karma, you had to go through so many lifetimes to earn so much of good karma to get 100 sons. And finally, you get a life where you have those 100 sons, and then you have to live a life to see that 100 sons have been died. So karma is so intricate, and because of prarabdha karma, that it puts us into certain situations where we'll have to that pain comes into in our lives in some form or the other. And if you see, most of the pain comes from people whom you're attached or people whom you trusted. I had a friend, somebody was telling in the manner, oh, I was there with this person, I was loved him so I liked that person so sincerely, he was my best friend, I did so much for that person for years and years together, and now suddenly she just left. I feel so pained at that. Why? Because of that attachment. Why? Because of that expectation. Why? Because of that. Because some prarabdha karma must have been happening from so many lifetimes that it came in this form, that person had to hurt you and you had to go through that pain. So because of prarabdha karma and sanchit karma, like, which could be happening from different lifetime, it comes in different forms. It could be coming in as a health problem, and it could be in the form of pain coming from a loved ones. So this is how it happened. The karma is so integrated because we don't know. That's the reason why Krishna gives us this Bhagavad Gita, to see how to navigate your life without incurring any bad karma, by doing everything as an offering for Krishna. And how to overcome this, in the sense, because like I said, in this material world, we are so entangled. We are so entangled in these complexities of these relationships that we don't know how to even come out of it. And we are stuck in this material, this thing that we don't have any other outlet to kind of, how do I handle this, this pain that I'm going through, kind of thing. Because there is no other window open for this person. This person is only this friend, my work, this friend, and this my family. This is only my whole world. And you have surrendered your this thing, so there is no other outlet. And this is the reason why mental depression and all these things happen, because you're living in this material world, you're so attached to all these things, and you don't have any other avenue other than that. But for a Krishna consciousness person, he's so busy in practicing his Krishna consciousness, and without knowing also, he develops so much of a spiritual strength. Without knowing itself, he gets so absorbed in Krishna consciousness that when you understand, when you get into this Krishna consciousness and practicing Krishna consciousness so nicely, it gives you a certain spiritual strength. With the help, you can withstand all these tolerances. Why? Because Krishna gives you the knowledge. Because most of the pains are because of ignorance. Our pain is because of certain lack of ignorance, or because, like as I said, prarabdha karma, and so many things, because of our attachment and things like that. But when we understand from Krishna, where Krishna is kind of giving us these messages, how to get peace of mind, not by, fulfilling all your desires, but trying to tolerate all these desires. That's how we can. And Krishna is saying, yeah, this is the nature of the material world. It's a world of duality. There's going to be a pain, there's going to be a pleasure. That's why Krishna is saying, Matras Parsasta Kaunteya, Shitosna Sukaduk. They are just like summer and winter season, this happiness and distress. And Krishna himself is saying one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. And Prabhupada explains that the art of tolerance, the art of self-control, the art of self-satisfaction, all these things we will develop by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because
Yes.
it purifies your consciousness, and it gives you the spiritual strength to withstand all of this. It gives you the spiritual strength. Because now you're not looking at this problem as one big problem, because this person, like in the material world, for him, this small problem also is looking like a gigantic thing, because he hasn't got anything else in his life. But for the Krishna consciousness, the consciousness, practice of Krishna Bhakti itself keeps him so busy that for
Yes.
him, he just looks it as one problem, one aspect of his life. It doesn't consume his own life. And he deals with it in a different way, because he lays everything at the feet of Krishna. Krishna, for some reason, I would have done something, and this is the mood of the devotee. A devotee always thinks that if any pain comes, Krishna, you're so kind that this pain must have, because of my prarabdha karma, this pain is happening, but you're so kind. Maybe I was supposed to suffer a big, cut, which you are actually reduced it to a small slit like this. Maybe I was supposed to suffer even more, but you reduce the pain and just giving me some token suffering. That's the mood of the devotee. So that's how, so it's all about perspective. A material person looks at a problem in a different perspective, but a Krishna conscious person, he looks at it as a problem also, as something which is trying to purify him. It's purifying, because every time because why do people commit suicide? They're not able to withstand this. And because of that, they'll have to, it's even more worse life to commit suicide. But a person who's able to tolerate this and who understand that by withstanding and by going through this pain, I'm purifying myself, my life. It's getting purified. And that's it. You're just canceling the account. And also the two realization, one is it's purifying. I'm just, by just withstanding and tolerating, I'm purifying my thing. And second thing is also to understand that Krishna, maybe a greater pain was supposed to happen, but you just giving me some token pain and you just let me go. So that's how the mood of a devotee is. And that's with that perspective, it helps you to overcome these things. Otherwise, it's very difficult actually, because if you Krishna devotees, they're not like a Superman, or like it's not like Krishna devotees don't have pain or something, but it's just that they change the perspective towards it. Just like Arjuna, before the Bhagavad Gita, he was so ego conscious, and he was literally, his mind was depressed, he was confused, and his Gandhiva was slipping. That was his position, because there can't be anybody in a worse situation than Arjuna. Because he had to go and kill his own guru, he has to go and kill his own grandfather. There can't be anybody who's going through a more painful situation than Arjuna at that moment of time. But after listening to Bhagavad Gita, he understood only one thing. Samsiddhim Hari Toshanam. Krishna, I will do this for your satisfaction. I will go and fight. I'll do it as an offering to you. That will give the satisfaction. So keeping Krishna in the center and facing every problem and at his lotus feet and surrendering to Krishna, and with that perspective that Krishna, okay, whatever this problem has happened, I'm just leaving at your feet. I will give him my best, and you please take care of the rest, kind of thing. So that is what is the way to overcome these things. But nice, Gayatri Ji. It's a wonderful question that you asked, and I think it's really nice. It's in the with the devotees we have to discuss like this so that we can get some some better understanding of it. And
thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for clarifying. Thank you, sir. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. And we will once again meet next Thursday. We'll just do a final one. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya. Debyo namo namo.
Can we all unmute and do 3 loud Hari Bols to Shyam Prabhuji?
Ki jai.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much for association. I'm so humbled by your wonderful association on a weekday, taking time for the Hari Katha. So Naham Karta Hari Karta. So it's Hari's Katha, and he's the one who's making us do this. So thank you so much for your association. We'll meet up again next Thursday. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sham, don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sham, I was just wondering, could we chant a round at the beginning?
We can. Let's see, because morning there is a session actually where they do that.
No, on your thing, on this.
We can do. But
it's
again,
only 10 minutes.
Take away 10 minutes, no? Because again, we have other. We had the key.
Or we could do it at the end.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to stay behind.
Yeah. Maybe towards the end. We'll ask for everybody's opinion.
Yeah, ask everybody. I think end would be better. If anybody wants to leave, they can leave. And those that want to stay behind and do a chanting round, I think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that then. Maybe next week. Yeah.
So what are you doing a Ramayan thing on Sunday?
Oh yeah. Wish me luck. Yeah.
Oh, you'll be fine. Why is it a big event on Sunday or what?
It's the love feast, Prabhu.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm just thinking, is it anything to do with Ram? Like a big.
Because Ram Navami is coming next week, next month.
When?
Next month, I think it's 6th or something. Yeah.
Ram Navami. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. You okay?
Yeah. All okay.
All right. Thanks very much. Brilliant.